What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Big Monster Briefing Room. We have an interesting situation. We may go down during this show. There's a giant snowstorm up where Major Hazzard is. Let's go ahead and bring her out. Major Hazzard, come on out.
Yes, hello. I'm saluting you, though you can't see me from the back of Mothra. I'm tracking the abominable snowman right now, also known as Yeti, also known as, one of the counterparts of the North American Sasquatch. And we got a blizzard up here. I'll tell you, General, things are a little hairy, just like abominable snowman, Haha, get it? Little pun humor for you.
Yeah, so as you are running the show from where you are, we may go down.
We may go down, and there's always a chance of...
I hope not.
There's always a chance
especially this episode.
Of bad weather, the blizzard, and also the abominable snowman is not exactly happy about us tracking him. So sometimes he likes to tamper with some of the wires. I just can't promise anything for this show. We'll be on the edges of our seats the whole time.
Yeah, you sound a little tinny. I gotta admit, and you're breaking up already. So we were talking about next week's show. And I had originally planned to do Lair of the White Worm with Hugh Grant and Amanda Donahoe.
That sounds the whole thing.
It's a very
Donahoe and a white worm. The whole thing sounds a little like pornography to me.
Well, it's pretty racy. So I thought to myself, hey, you know what? We haven't had Tom Cheshire back on the show in a while. So I asked Tom Cheshire if he would do something a little tamer. So next week, we're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That is going to be a perfect match made.
Tom Chester.
I cannot believe it. It's going to be epic. It's going to be wonderful. I cannot wait. Fantastic.
So when I get my cojones in place, we'll do Lair of the White Worm, maybe a little later on down the line. But if we decided to do Rocky Horror Picture Show instead, the other movie's pretty racy. So you can look it up, Lair of the White Worm. It's wow, it is out there. It's a snake snake woman.
I feel like Cadet Morales had probably seen it. I guarantee you that Cadet Morales is familiar with it.
I'm sure he's got several memes from it.
Oh, I'm certain he knows every word. Where's Cadet Morales? He's tawdy today. He's a little tawdy.
I'm sure he's here. Cadet Jonathan Seven's here. John Phipps is here. Thank you for tagging. This is a monumental episode, I feel, because you know how I feel about Godzilla. I have great respect for the monster. He's the toughest monster I've ever gone up against, and this was back from his heyday when he was really a menace. He was really a menace back then. Before he kind of relaxed and calmed down a little bit and started, working with us on helping to helping to fight invaders like King Ghidorah and such. But a lot of people don't know that he actually had a huge fight with King Kong back in 1963. And we are going to go through the timeline for that training film, the American version, which it's very rare that I like the American versions over the Japanese versions of the films because they usually make more sense. But I do like this version, the American version, which was produced by John Beck.
What do you like about it, General?
I really like, for one thing, the music. I am a big fan of Akira Ifukube, but this was one of his weakest scores. And Beck went to the library of several different studios, including Universal Studio, and pulled out music from monster movies that we're familiar with, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, and he plugged those in to the movie, which I thought was really good. I mean, he really boned up the action and the intenseness of scenes with doing that, because Akira Ifukube's score is kind of tame compared to what he would do later, like in Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, and beyond. And King Kong Escapes is one of his best scores. It's a very powerful score. It's a better theme for King Kong. In this one, in the Japanese version, he had this kind of wah, 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 wah. This was supposed to be King Kong's theme, and it sounded like he was drunk all the time because he drinks the berry juice in the movie. We'll talk about that when we do the timeline.
That was pretty incredible. That was incredible. That's a TikTok right there, General. That's what the kids are doing. That's a TikTok.
But instead,
that was some
like
general
Creature
noises.
from the Black Lagoon. Da, 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 da. We get really powerful songs to make King Kong seem more awesome, more ominous. I have here the 1963 version of Godzilla, as we will see him in the movie. He looks very lizard-like. He's got the big thunder thighs, which they do. The American Godzilla's got that too now. This is the SH Monster Arts.
You got to call it enormous.
This is one of my favorite Godzilla because when I was a kid, I used to have the Aurora model kit, which was also that Godzilla. And this is King Kong. Now, I want you to look at this face very carefully, because this is kind of a silly Kong face. But there it is. So, and this is actually too big. Actually, Kong is usually towered over by Godzilla. He's supposed to be shorter, but this one is actually taller than the Godzilla. I don't know why they did that, but there it is. So I'll put him down on the lower tier. So yeah, in the beginning of this movie, again, a very weak opening theme song. It's a kind of it's the island music, Kong Islands music. Da, 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 da. Wah, 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 wah. And it's not that effective. So again, John Beck went back and found this awesome Japanese sounding war theme from like a Genghis Khan movie or something. I can't remember exactly where it came from, but it was like dun 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 dun, and it just grabs you right from the very beginning, and it just pulls you right into the movie. So again, I just love this version of this movie, the John Beck Americanized version of King Kong versus Godzilla. And let me know if Unite Godzilla fan shows up, because we know he's got to close up shop.
He's there right now. He just came in. Here he is.
There he is. Awesome, perfect timing. So I was just explaining why I enjoy the music of this film more than the Japanese version of King Kong versus Godzilla.
All right. I mean, one of my favorite songs from the film is the tribal song that they do while Kong is drinking his jungle juice.
Right.
It's probably one of my favorite songs out of any Godzilla movie.
Wow. So I was just explaining, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I was just explaining how that seemed kind of as a weak theme song for the opening. And this song that Beck found in the library of one of the studios and put it in there just really grabs you and pulls you right in. Again, when you watch, I really honestly believe in my heart and soul that they wanted to make King Kong look foolish in this, with getting the drunk all the time, and the costume looks kind of silly.
Oh yeah,
So they were trying to that. But the fact of the matter was he's King Kong, and he is a very powerful monster, big monster, and people rooted for him because he was the good guy.
Of course.
So by the time King Kong Escapes came out, and we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Linda Miller, who was in the movie. Yeah. Kong gets a much more powerful theme song. That opening theme song which is Kong's theme, is very powerful for King Kong Escapes. And again, they treat him with a lot more respect. The suit looks better. The face looks better.
Yeah, it does.
And they had to change the face because in this movie, the face was actually damaged. You can see it actually in the film. A boulder hits, a fake boulder hits the face and smashes it. It's very clear in the movie when you watch it. It's when he's down and there's fire all around him, and it's just before he gets hit by lightning.
Okay, I'll have to look at that. Oh yeah.
It's very clear. They got 2 shots of it too from 2 different angles, and you can see it both times. Bam! And you see the snout just kind of gets squashed, gets smushed in.
I remember that now. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they had to do a whole redo on the face for the next movie. So, obviously that was later in filming when they shot that scene, and luckily because they knew it might get damaged. Maybe, I don't know. So let's start the timeline. We start out. It's a Universal International release through John Beck. And again, I wanted to give him credit because he really, there's a lot of guys that have Americanized these films, and they've really botched the job. but Beck really knew what he was doing. He knew how to get an audience on the edge of his seat and keep them there. So we get the kind of Asian style letters there, King Kong versus Godzilla. And again, that song is pulling us right in. And then we have kind of a silly Horatio, there are more things in heaven and earth, the Shakespeare quote, which I thought was kind of weird to start with, but there it is. And we go to the UN, and our UN reporter, Eric Carter, I believe is his name in the movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there he is. He is the Raymond Burr of this film.
Yeah.
They pull him in, and he's doing news stories, and he's talking about Dr. Aquino's berries from Kong Island right out of the gate.
Good old jungle berries.
Yeah, the jungle berries. Those red berries, the jolly candy-like red berries.
But he also says that Godzilla's brain is the size of the berries, which I thought was very insulting.
No. The doctor that he has out on his guest says that King Kong's brain is 10 times the size of a gorilla, but Godzilla's brain is the size of a marble.
Well, that's just rude either way. Like, that's rude.
He goes, he says Godzilla is just brute force, and King Kong is a thinking animal. Yeah, that's one of those quotes from the movie that everybody remembers for one reason or another. So these 2 guys work for the pharmaceutical company. Let me see if I can pull up who the guy on the left is Tadao Takashima. And he's in several Godzilla movies. He was in Son of Godzilla and several. And this is probably his best performance in a Godzilla movie, really. Truthfully. He's also Mothra.
I love him. I think he's a great actor in these movies. Like, he really nails it. But I agree.
And Yu Fujika is the other guy. And I think this actually, this shot here, Japan in the early 60s, I can't remember if this is in the original Japanese version or not. But they used it a lot. They used this a lot in the film, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And Yu Fujika was more of a comical actor. So he did a lot of comedy in this. He's talking about his corns and whatnot. He's also in Atragon. He's in Mothra versus Godzilla, War of the Gargantuas, Monster from Space, which is Space Amoeba. Another title for it. I tried to pull up my Japanese actor cards to help me on this one. So we get Miyahama and my goodness, I should know this one's name by heart because he's Kenji Sahara. Kenji Sahara is her brother. Or no, her boyfriend. That's her boyfriend. Her brother is actually the other guy. And he's talking about his steel wire that is very strong, and he he does the demonstration where he's hanging out the window. There he is, and the brother is like, "Hey, whoa, no, you're not Tarzan now. Come on, come back to the table." And kids, that watch this film seem to like this a lot. He's being naughty.
Right, he's being a goofball.
And then we get to the submarine Seahawk, which is there's all kinds of icebergs out there in the upper Pacific Ocean, and they're breaking apart, and they're wondering why. And people who are Godzilla fans know that Godzilla was buried in ice in the previous film, which was Godzilla Raids Again. At the end of that movie. So he is in an iceberg here, and the Seahawk runs right into it. So these guys are toast. They got too close. They got too close. And some of the iceberg crumbles and falls on their rudder, and their ship is incapacitated. And they put out a yellow marker to, a rescue marker around the ship, which I thought was an interesting idea. And he says abandon ship, and just as he says abandon ship, the roof catches fire. The roof is on fire. Dun, 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 dun. We get the Godzilla theme. You know who it is. See, now, and that is the one powerful theme that they kept, that John Beck kept in this in the music for this, was the Godzilla theme.
Right.
Which is very familiar. And I love these two guys. The guy on the left looks like my friend Steve Anderson. But the dubbing is just so bad. It's Godzilla!
Yeah, the dubbing was just like it always is in every Godzilla dub film.
Well, actually, if you've seen the original, though, it's just as dramatic. It's Godzilla!
Oh, they're always dramatic in the Showa films. Very dramatic.
So, lovely toy helicopter there. There's the marker. Where you can see where the sub, banged into the iceberg. Sorry. And then Godzilla comes out, and this is one of the best Godzilla entrances. I think the only one I like better is the next film when he pops out of the ground to fight Mothra.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, boss man.
So, oh, really? What's your favorite Godzilla entrance?
My favorite entrance is Terra Mecha Godzilla 75. I think when he comes out, blast Titano with the atomic breath, and then he's just like, "What's up, bitch? What you got?"
Yeah, he comes up over the ridge.
Love that.
Yeah, that's dramatic. I do like in Biollante when he comes out of the volcano. That's a nice entrance too.
I mean, don't get me wrong. 64, like when he comes out of the sand, I thought that was such a very, very powerful entrance because, of course, the music is just so like moving, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it's the Godzilla thing. His tail is swinging around out of the ground first, so it looks like a giant worm coming out of the ground, and then he shakes it. He comes out with the spines come up out of the ground. He shakes off the dirt, and but this here actually is again, as a kid when I watched this film,
Sure.
this scene in the tank, as they call it, not the little tanks, not the toy tanks, but that tank, and the tracer bullets going out to him. That was really impressive to me.
Right, absolutely.
That just, as a kid, I was like, I was just eating it up like candy. So here's the miniature Godzilla head spraying radioactive fire at the miniature tanks.
God. Talking about your special effects back in the day.
No CGI there, buddy.
Nope, that's all practical effect work.
That's a Muppet with a spray can in it.
You gotta give it love, though. You gotta give it love. Without it, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
Yeah, but and again, you juxtapose it against a scene like this where he's swinging around and they've got his tail suspended and swinging around. I mean, it's good stuff. And the tail damage that's done in this scene is impressive.
Oh,
his tail is just a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, and now we're in color. Godzilla's in color for the first time. We're seeing that when the spines light up, and he shoots the atomic breath, it's blue.
Yeah.
So we get that, which is I mean, for Godzilla fans, I mean, again, this was the first color Godzilla.
Yeah, they were excited for it.
Yeah. So major devastation as he hits land, and this actor in the American version of the film looks very grim. He does a very good looking, grim looking guy.
Yes, he does. That is true.
And Beck is very smart. I mean, these sets are very minimal. You know, they use whatever footage they can to strap all this together. This is Mr. Toho, who runs the pharmaceutical company. He's going to send his guys out to the island where Kong is. He doesn't even know that Kong is out there yet. And the actor, this was the only Godzilla film that he did. He was a comedy actor. His name was Ichiro Irishima. And surprisingly, this was the only one that he did. And he was very funny and very memorable in this, as Mr. Toho.
And, I mean, the name alone, Mr. Taco, like...
He has some funny shtick going on in this.
Mr. Taco over there.
So his two guys make it to the island. Let me... I got to pull up this next guy here. Give me a second. Actually, there's a couple of guys here that I need to point out. There's the chief. Did I miss the interpreter? Did we miss the interpreter? Did you go by it too fast? Let's go back a slide or two. Nope, I guess not. Yeah, that's the chief. And he played a chief in the Mothra film too, as well.
Very, very controversial moment here.
Well, and his witch doctor that's with him is also in a lot of Godzilla films. That's Iko Sawamura.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find Shinkichi Omura is the guy who's the interpreter.
Yep.
And this is probably his most memorable role in all of the Godzilla films he's been in. He's been in a lot of them.
It's like a little bug. I always consider him to be like a bug in this movie. Like, he just bothered me.
It's just so over the top. And then the voice they give him when he's dubbed in, he says he wants to go now.
Yeah, it's so nasally and annoying. It's like, shut up.
So I'm trying to find the chief here because he's been in a lot of the Godzilla movies. And he was on Ultra Q. And here he is. Yoshio Kosugi is the chief. Yoshio Kosugi. And again, he plays generals in films. He plays he plays the priests. He plays the high priest in the Mothra film. He plays the chief here in King Kong versus Godzilla. He plays military characters as well. So on the island, they think, oh, it's the thunder and the lightning is what's scaring these natives. That's what it is. Just scared of a little thunder and lightning. Ha, 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 ha. And then they hear the King Kong roar. And it's like, okay, let's get down on our knees. Let's
start praying to the gods.
So, yeah, that's done for comedy effect. Now, we find out that, for lack of a better name, Kenji Suhura, that his plane crashed. So, Akiko Wakabayashi, who's on the right there, double. I loved her in You Only Live Twice. I'm sorry, she's one of my favorite Bond girls. Anyway, she tells her, "Hey, your boyfriend his plane went down, but a few people survived. So maybe if you go to the airport, in Hokkaido, maybe he's alive." Mm-hmm. So and here's where they bring the doctor on the UN news show. Now you got to remember, this is 1963. This is not the age of CNN and all these TV news shows that are out today. Nope. This was before its time. This is when they talk about Godzilla and King Kong and how their brains stack up, I think.
Yes.
Now, the boy is going out to get some red berry juice from the red berry juice hut. His mother's trying to find him. He's incensed with the new guys that are on the island. So he's helping them out. And a giant octopus shows up. Why is it a giant octopus? Probably because of the red berries.
I hate
so
it. Sounding. All right, look.
Well, here's the interesting thing. When it's touching Kong, it's actually it's like a octopus rubber thing.
Right.
Yeah, roll around, make him look like he's killing you.
And the other scene is an actual octopus.
But yes, in the scenes where it's going over the little hut and everything, that's a real octopus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all that that you hear is a real
sound.
octopus noise.
Yep.
That's the actual octopus sound. So with it slithering around there, like that's a real octopus right there.
Yeah.
After they shot this whole segment, the special effects, IG Super Ray ate that octopus for dinner. That's the truth. I've read that in a couple places.
That's funny.
After they finished the scene, after they got all the shots they needed, he had them cook it up. He ate it for dinner.
Well, but listen, use your resources. That's what I say.
Good to be at the top of the food chain.
Absolutely.
So, okay, Kong puts his foot down, and the octopus somehow manages to jump off the ground and onto Kong's face.
Remember, folks, logic. It's all about
You gotta love that.
all about the logic. It doesn't make sense. It
doesn't make sense, but hell, I like it.
Logical.
So Kong throws it, and he starts throwing boulders at it, and it slithers off. And it's time for Kong to drink some berry juice.
We gotta celebrate the victory win here.
So Kong gets smashed. Kong's out.
And then they start singing that song.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. It just makes you want to like bounce around in circles.
But not for an opening theme song. Dun, dun,
Yeah, you're right.
dun, dun. I just thought I'd throw pictures of her dancing in there because that's her big bit in this movie.
I mean, let's be real. We all know what we were looking at with this scene.
The coconuts.
Yeah.
She was actually in the Bigfoot movie the Abominable Snowman movie that they did in Japan. I want to say it's called The Manster, but I think it's something else. But she was the lead actress in that, and she did this, and then that's it. Okay, so the guys decide they're going to take Kong back. They're going to take the Kong back to Japan. They don't think about, hey, he might be destructive.
Nah, not at all.
Taco says, hey, let's just bring him back. Obviously, they didn't see the first King Kong movie. That didn't go well either. So yeah, they time it. Oh, here we go. Here, see, he's holding the marble. And
there it is. There's the insulting swine.
and Kong's brain is 10 times the size of this head.
Although later we find out in 1993 that Godzilla has 2 brains. Ha!
So that's so much for continuity.
Right? Yeah, really.
They didn't see this movie. They didn't care. Well, and there's the whole thing about Godzilla not liking electricity in the earlier films, including this one. They actually deter him from the city by putting up an electrical wire, which does not deter Kong. Nope. And then later he uses it to beat Mechagodzilla. Go figure. So here's Taco landing on the ship that's bringing Kong back. Banzai! And they do some funny shtick, with the dynamite plunger.
Oh, that scene was so dramatic.
It's comical. His character is the comic relief. He
is. No, definitely.
And the guy in the red Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
He calls him a dumbbell. Dumbbell?
that overdub American. Dumbbell? Boo?
You don't care. You're a dumbbell. So the Japanese government sends a Coast Guard ship out to tell them, look, you got to turn back. You got to take Kong back to not Mondo Island. What is it in this? Faro Island.
There it is, yeah.
It's Mondo Island and King Kong escapes, but it's Faro Island in it. Oh, you go Faro. Go back home. And they tell him, yeah, you got to take Kong back. You're not going to take responsible for him. He's too much of a danger.
Yep.
So, yeah, Taco's not happy about that. Now, this is where Kenji Sahara shows back up. Akiko Wakabayashi sees him in the hallway and drops her plate of food.
You're ruined.
He's like, yeah, I missed my plane. She's like, well, she's going off to Hokkaido on a train to kind of find you. And we see the toy train going to Hokkaido. And this is actually a very, very good toy train.
Yes.
It's very detailed. The people, they got little people painted in the windows and everything. Is a very good, very well done.
I will never care what anyone, you can make fun of the Showa Godzilla movies all you want. All the miniatures and whatnot, how do you insult that? Like, that takes talent. That takes time, dedication. There
was a lot of detail there.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, by the time they got to Ultraman, man, these guys had this down. I mean, some of the city sets and stuff that they did in Ultraman blow this stuff away. I mean, it's really, the detail is just incredible. So Godzilla's heading towards the train. They bang the little kid's head. And they have to get off that train fast because he's coming. And he's radioactive. That's the thing I love about these films is they point out the fact that he's so radioactive. And that's a danger, too. You could be, radioactivated, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that was a very big point in these earlier Godzilla films when he was a menace. And then that just kind of went away. It's like, okay, we know he's radioactive, but you'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Until what, 95, I believe?
Really? Yeah, they might have pointed that out again a little later on. Well, yeah. I mean, his radioactivity goes out of control in 95.
Yeah, that's right.
He's belching radioactive flames all over the place. So she's running around out there in the lakes and ponds and heels, and she's tripping all over the place. And he finally, I don't know how he does it because there's a large area there to find somebody. He finds the needle in the haystack. He finds her
randomly.
What are the odds?
I knew where she was.
What are the odds? No GPS back then. I know she's on a train somewhere between here and Hokkaido.
It could be any train, but I know which one it is.
There she is. She's in the lake. Just where I thought I'd find her. So they hide out while a very radioactive Godzilla goes by. By the way, this girl is very unlucky because not only does she come face to face with Godzilla in this film, she comes face to face with King Kong too.
It's a double whammy for her. That's for
two different trains. So the clue here is, folks, what you got to learn from this is if there's a giant monster anywhere nearby, don't get on the train. Okay, just don't get on a train.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it
because they don't like trains.
Well, they hate them. It's insulting.
They eat them. They eat trains.
Courage.
So now Kong is waking up and he's buffeting the ship all over the place, and Mr. Taco's got the cute little umbrella there. And there's the dumbbell scene. You dumbbell. You can actually read their lips in these two shots. Dumbbell. And they end up shooting the dynamite and blowing up the raft. Our two heroes here.
Yep.
And it doesn't hurt King Kong. It just kind of makes him angry, and he swims off to Tokyo.
Comes out the water.
I'll show you. And again, we get the Creature from the Black Lagoon music here. Dun 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 dun. Very dramatic.
Yep.
Dun 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 dun. Amazingly, again, I'm wondering how he got to some of the songs, the music that he got for this movie, but very good, very awesome. And again, like I was saying before you came on the show, I'm a huge Akira Ifukube fan. I love his scores. He didn't really hit his stride until the year after this, though, and then he was turning out some super themes. That's where we got the Rodan theme that we would know as the Rodan theme after.
Yep.
Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Mothra's theme. And King Kong escapes. War of the Gargantua is one of his best scores. Period. Great time. He did the Majin film scores. So we got our first matchup between Kong and Godzilla, and right away, Alpha Godzilla shows Kong why he shouldn't fight him. he blows up a helicopter that conveniently goes right in front of his mouth. What was this guy thinking?
When your mom says don't touch the hot stove, you don't touch the hot stove. But
you don't fly in front of Godzilla's mouth.
The hot lizard here.
Okay, now we learned. And can you tell me what Mr. Taco is saying there? Bite him! So yeah, Kong is like, wait a minute, hey, he's cinching my fur. And Godzilla is doing that happy dance with the happy clap. He's singeing my fur. So Kong walks off. He's like, I don't need this kind of negativity in my life. I'm out of here.
Fuck this.
Exactly. So we have again a lot of miniature trucks, doing construction. Man, my mouth is not working tonight. And they're filling lakes, the nearby lakes, with gasoline, so they can set them on fire and lead Godzilla to the trap that they are planning for him, which is a giant pit filled with dynamite. Yeah, that's gonna stop him.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
Again, this is only the third time up at bat, so yes, Godzilla shows up at nightfall, and they light the gasoline, steering him right to where they want him. And the general, played by another regular in these films, Mr. Jun Tazaki. He's playing the general in this. He has a little mustache. He's in a lot of the Godzilla films. He's in Destroy All Monsters. He's in Monster Zero. He's in this one. He's in Godzilla versus Ibira, the sea monster.
Did I say Ebera?
That's what I used to say, and then I watched the Japanese version, and they're saying Ibira. But I used to say Ebra back in the day. I did. Abira. So it's just a matter of, where you put your accent.
Of course. Accents always matter.
So they blow up Godzilla, and man, it doesn't even piss him off. I mean, it's just like, seriously, that's it? That's all you got?
That's what you got?
Da, da, da! Da, da, da! Creature from the Black Lagoon music. Uh-oh, I got a low battery here. I got to attach a cable to my phone here. This actor was the original Dr. Serizawa.
Yeah.
His name is Akihiko Harata.
Yeah.
And he's in a lot of the Godzilla movies, right up until Godzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla replaced the Mad Scientist. And you actually, I saw a picture. One of our pictures, our promo pictures, had you meeting his daughter from that movie.
Yeah, I met Katsura. I forgot her actual name, but yeah, Katsura. Yep, Robo Titties. Gotta love Robo Titties.
Ay. So Godzilla keeps moving. It's moving actually towards the fence, the electrical fence.
Ooh, fence.
And it deters him. So like, finally, we did something right. And he moves along the fence line there, and it stays away from the city, which is nice. It worked. And then King Kong shows up. And it's like, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Damn it. We didn't think.
We might have had a good idea, but
there he is.
That roar was
arms waving in the air. And he likes electricity. He really likes it. He likes the taste of it.
Yum, 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 yum.
As shown here. There he is. And yeah, he sucks it up. It turns his face blue. So it's like catnip for Kong. It's Kong nip.
Kong nip. Oh God.
So our lovers get separated again, and this does not bode well.
Nope.
Again, she's on another train, and sure enough, as the minute she leaves the station, Kong's there, and he picks up the train. Now, we don't feel for the other 50 passengers that were on that train car and that fell out.
Nope. Forgot
But
it.
we are definitely rooting for the girl in the yellow dress. And it didn't strike me. It didn't hit me until I was watching this again that Mia Hama is a Kong actress now. She's one of the girls in the hand.
Yep.
Before even Linda Miller. So I was very surprised by that. It never dawned on me. So Kong goes up to that is like the big government building in Tokyo.
Yeah,
like the Capitol building.
It always gets fucked up. Like, like, what was it in '92? Mothra versus Godzilla. It's Mothra uses it for her cocoon.
For her cocoon, yes.
Yep.
So yeah, Kong gets up on the top of it, and they fire some of the berry juice from rockets over his head, and he gets evidently he saved one of the drums from the island when he was there. Her brother. He goes, go get my
drums.
An
island drum, and hey, I'm gonna take this
with a psychedelic skin on it. do. So Kong goes to sleep on top of the Capitol building, and he slides off the side of it. And luckily, she doesn't fall out of his hand until he hits the ground, and he kindly, softly lets her out, which is nice and convenient. And that's it. Mia Hama's done. She's finished in the film now. So the general and the guys put their heads together from the pharmaceutical company, and they say, hey, my brother's got this great wire, and, we could take some balloons and pick up Kong and drop him on Godzilla. And I am sure that George Takei was one of the guys that dubbed this film. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, my.
So that's my favorite shot from up above. They're showing them putting the balloons around Kong. And then they fill them up with the helium. Now, this airlift kind of looks a little wonky and ridiculous in this film. So again, they got it right when they did King Kong Escapes. They lifted him with helicopters, catching each limb,
right,
and in his midsection, and then they flew him over to another place, which was a lot more. It didn't look as silly as this. I mean, look at that. 99 red balloons, yellow balloons.
I like his little wiggle when he wakes up. That's my favorite part. He's like,
what's that?
When he wakes up and he's trying to get out of the balloons, he's like
a marionette. He's like one of the guys on the Thunderbirds. Hey, let me out of here.
Okay.
So there's Mount Fuji. By gosh, gotta have Mount Fuji in a Showa film.
Oh wait.
Yeah, the close-up face of Kong is just silly looking. So the one thing I like about this scene is when they light up the wires and let him go.
Yeah,
and when he falls, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
and then he kind of slides down the mountain on his ass until he lands into Godzilla.
And then you have And then you have an all-out puppet war.
He's got a boulder up his bunghole now.
Yeah, really. Talk about getting a prostate tract. Jesus.
I'll be shitting rocks for weeks. So Kong, once he knocks Godzilla over, he makes his way around a giant boulder kind of thing, which he's able to hide underneath, like it's a little cave. And Godzilla comes. and his tail is right there in front of Kong. Kong actually tries to grab Godzilla's tail several times in this film.
Yeah.
The first 2 times here doesn't work. Godzilla's tail is so strong, it just flips him right off. It just like, it just thumps him right away. But when he gets the power from the lightning in a little bit, then he's able to actually sling Godzilla around. He's got enough power in him. He's got enough juice in him where he can sling Godzilla around. There he is being flicked off.
Yeah.
And again, this suit is one of my favorite Godzilla suits.
Really?
It's the Aurora model kit suit. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, every kid had that Aurora model kit with the glow in the dark head and hands and stuff. They love this suit because of that. And a lot of people don't like it. I know. They say it doesn't look as real as some of the later suits, like the 64 and the 65.
I just feel like it looks too.
What's that?
It's just too goofy for me.
You think it looks goofy, really?
Yeah,
I think it looks more lizard-like.
Like in this photo alone, like look at his nails. His nails look like he's been to a nail salon. Like, come on, like.
You know what? I never even noticed the nails. To be honest with you, I mean, other than that, they're sharp.
I was very picky when I was a kid. When I first saw this movie, I was not a fan. I was not happy with this film whatsoever.
Oh wow!
Nowadays, I'm grateful for it, but it's definitely on the lower tier of movies that I like.
This is my second favorite suit, I gotta say, because 68's my favorite. 68's my favorite. It's one of the longest lasting suits, and this one, I just thought it was more lizard-like, which I liked about it. And again, I had the Rory model kit, which kind of makes it fond in my heart. So anyway, so Godzilla, Kong tries to do a little flip move, and Godzilla ducks out of the way, and he hits his head on a rock.
There it is. Those are puppets. I love it.
And these are the puppets, yeah. I love when they have the puppets on the top of the mountain, and you can clearly see that it's 2 puppets.
They're like, we're not going to try to hide this. We're just going to let this rock, and hopefully people will still like it. Like, who cares at this point?
So Kong hits it. There's one of those shots where the suit the face gets damaged. Can we go back one slide?
Yeah.
See that second shot? That is right after the boulder bounced off his schnoz. So you can see a difference there. It smashed it in the face, the monkey face. And there's another one coming up here in about a slide or two. There's Godzilla's atomic breath. I'm getting a lot of messages about the show that's coming up after here. And then the lightning comes. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, good lightning. Kong, it makes Kong stronger. Oh, my.
Oh, my.
I would love to have him on our show one of these days.
That'd be great.
It would be great. Is it Takei or Takai? It's Takei, right?
I say Takai. George Takai.
I used to say Takai, but I think it's Takei. Anyway,
accents.
Potato, you call the whole thing. So the lightning hits him, and Kong now is juiced. He's got the lightning. He's got the electricity in his fingertips. This time he grabs the tail, and he's got the power to swing him around. I have got to turn off notifications for the Cosmos group. Anyway, I keep seeing all these messages, thousands of messages about the next show. And a lot of people's favorite scene, Kong tries to shove a tree down Godzilla's throat.
Eat your vegetables!
Yes. And Godzilla does the coolest thing that anybody can do in a situation like that. He just breathes the tree into fire onto Kong's chest.
Simple things that we guys do best. Yep.
And again, as a kid, you ate that stuff up with a spoon. I mean, it's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And Kong, this time he brushes it off. He's not afraid of the fire anymore.
Yeah. He's like, come on, bring it.
He's puffing his chest out. So Kong actually does a judo flip, flips him right over his shoulder. They did this again with Gabara in Godzilla's Revenge, All Monsters Attack. And again, I never really thought about it. Gabra's got electrical fingers too. He's got the electrical touch.
Yeah,
I never made that connection before. So you can see the Godzilla's being zapped by Kong's electrical fingertips. Static electricity. Ow, ow, stop. Oh, there's the puppets. There they are.
Oh my God.
Ooh, look at that fight. Look at those puppets go. And again, that tickles me so much. I don't know why. Anyway,
it's great. It's great stuff.
It's so obviously. I'll tell you a story about this after the show. There was going to be a comedy sketch based on that.
Nice.
So there they are. The puppets are going at it.
Oh my God.
That's the real Godzilla actor in the suit. That's what the one who did it for like the first zillion films. I want to say Nakamura, but that's not it.
Oh my God.
Nakajima, that's right. Nakajima-san. Yeah. He actually moves very differently in this film from all the other films that he's done as Godzilla, to me. He just seems different in this. But he does a great job. I liked it.
This suit is a little bit heavier than the previous ones because it was more.
That might be it. The suit is bulkier. Yeah, that could be it. Love Kong running through the fire to get to Godzilla, not once but twice.
Yeah,
just showing he's not afraid anymore. And just really nicely done by the effects team. And now they're coming up on a famous castle that's there by the water, which they destroy. They demolish it. And again, that was one of the fun things about these films was they would actually recreate famous places in Japan and have the monsters destroy them for the audience. Yep. And the audience would invariably laugh at the joke. Oh, that's the so-and-so such and such tower, Yeah. That's Kyoto Tower. That's what that is. Boom, down it goes.
Goodbye.
And that's what they're going for here. They get to both sides of this place and it just goes down. And again, a lot of the publicity photos of this shot.
Of that one and Kong swinging Godzilla by a tail. Those two are the big marketing ads for this movie, hands down. Yes. Agreed.
One of the posters we used to promote this was Godzilla being swung around by King Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it almost looks like Kong is more in the distance, but Godzilla is very close to you. So it gave it like that 3D effect look to it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant for 1962. Yeah. Easily.
The first place that I saw that picture was a full-page picture in the book, The Encyclopedia. Was it The Encyclopedia of Monster Movies? I think that's what it was called. The Encyclopedia of Horror Films, maybe.
Huh.
And they had a shot of that swinging tail shot, full page, at the beginning of a chapter in the book.
Very nice.
I was so impressed with that because that book came out in like 71, 72.
Yeah.
So, and it was like the Bible to most kids around that time for monster movies. Anyway, so there goes the second tier.
Oh my God.
And then as was this was the beginning of, okay, what do we do at the end of the movie? I know, we'll have the monsters fall into the water and one of them will come out.
Yeah.
And the others will stay. So in this one, they go into the drink. There's an earthquake. Kong comes up. In the next one, Godzilla goes into the drink because the Mothra twins, the Mothra larva, spray him, and he goes in the drink and he doesn't come back. King Ghidorah. Same thing. They go into the drink. King Ghidorah flies away. We don't know what happened to Rodan and Godzilla. And did they do that at the end of Monster Zero too? They did it a lot in the mid '60s.
I don't think. I mean, I always get mixed up with the Ghidorah movies because they wanted to use them like 5 times in your show series.
I think they zap him and he falls into the water, but then he flies away. Maybe
something like that. Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, I think maybe Godzilla and Rodan stayed on the land. But they ended up in Monster Island. Or no, Godzilla actually ended up in a cave. Go figure.
That's right. He did. He was sleeping in the cave. That's right.
And we didn't see Rodan again until Monster Island. Yep. So we see the bubbles going out to sea. We're wondering, hey, who's going to come out? Now, there was a myth that was generated, that circulated for decades, that there were two endings to this film. That the original, before the original Japanese version was released worldwide, people were saying that Godzilla came out of the water and swam away. But that's not true. That was never filmed.
Nope. There's no such thing. There is no ending of that.
It's a myth.
It's a huge myth. You have the director saying, nope, we didn't do that. Screenwriter says, nope, we didn't do that either. Right. It's just one of those things where Godzilla fans at that point in time did not want to admit that Kong won. Again,
the Kong was supposed to be the hero here. Godzilla was the villain. Just like Mothra was supposed to be the hero in the next one, and Godzilla was the villain. Again, he was the bad guy.
Why it's called King Kong.
King Kong, first top billing versus Godzilla. Mothra versus Godzilla, which became Godzilla versus the Thing in America. Go figure that.
Yeah, that was a bit off.
Yeah, Godzilla versus James Arnaz. Wait a minute. So Kong swims off to not Mondo Island. I did it again. Faroe Island. I did it again.
It's all right. Mondo's a better name than Faroe Island.
You go Faroe Island. And was it named Brian Keith? No, that's a guy from The Family Affair. And our guy's up in the helicopter. No Godzilla. King Kong swimming out to sea. No Godzilla. Well, that's wonderful. And we wish him well on his long journey home. And again, we get dun 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 dun. We get a better theme song at the end for the end of the movie as well. Again, John Beck did a slick job of really packaging this up for American audiences.
Oh yeah.
And as much as I like Raymond Burr, I don't know. I just think they did a much better job with this. So, in my opinion.
All right. That's fair.
So yeah, again, Godzilla comes back again as a villain in the next one, which we will do soon on this show. Godzilla Mothra versus Godzilla, as it would come to be later. It got to be like okay, Godzilla's fought Mothra so many times. How do we name these? And Godzilla's fought Mechagodzilla so many times. How do we name these so we can delineate? Versus Mechagodzilla 2 against Mechagodzilla. Wait a minute, which one?
Well, they certainly figured that out after like 5 movies of Mechagodzilla, and finally said, "Wait, we need to call this Tokyo SOS."
Yeah, there you go. Yes. That was the last one. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me on this trek through the original Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla.
Absolutely, thank you. Great film. Even though I always found it cheesy, I think it's the reason why we have Godzilla versus Kong today. I will always give it credit for doing that. And and again, this ushered in Godzilla to America in color. So it's really the beginning of us and our love affair with the King of the Monsters. Yeah, easily. Well said. I could not even disagree for 1 and 2 on that point.
Yeah. So you can't fault it for that. Ghidorah the three-headed monster did even a better job of getting us hooked into giant kaiju. But there's another time, another training film. All right. Thank you, sir. You have a great rest of your day, and you guys keep an eye out for those big monsters. Thank you, Major Hazzard.